again. It's like somewhere over there. Making my YouTube channel video.
Where's she?
I make it.
Can you see the lake? Can you see the lake?
Oh yes, I can see the lake.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm also making a YouTube video.
Okay.
Just to give you a heads up why I'm holding this. She knows about the YouTube video.
Okay. Well, what kind of tree that was here? Huh? You don't cut the tree down. Yes. Yes.
Stop and listen.
Okay. All right. So you're probably going to notice that this is a conservation area, and everything that's here is protected. So when you visit a place like this, you're not allowed to come in and pick the flowers and stuff like that. You have to leave everything here. But you notice when you come in, and you'll notice quite a bit, that a lot of the trees have been cut down, and that's because the trees were sick. So the two at the entrance that were cut down are ash trees. And ash trees have a bug inside them that's killing them. So before the tree falls on anybody, we had to cut those two down. The other trees that have been cut down are beech trees, and the beech trees were also sick, and we have a few more still to cut down. They have something called beech bark disease, which makes them very weak, and they can collapse at any time. So we do have to look after the forest, make sure that it's safe for people to come in and visit, and also safe for people, when the employees, when they're out tapping the trees to get ready for the maple syrup. And we don't want any of the trees falling on the line, so we also have to make sure that, you know, the lines aren't going to be damaged in the heavy wind. Okay, so we're just going to go a little bit further. Perfect. So you picked a good day today. Yesterday was lousy. The sap was running, but it was wet and it was cold. Today it's a beautiful sunny day. The sap is running, which is awesome. So for the sap to run, we need cold nights below freezing and warm days. So this is actually a warm day. The sun is shining, it's warming up the trees. There's actually sap in the lines. So you can see that's where it stops, and the whole tube is full. You can see some bubbles in the line. So the sap is actually running today. Yeah, you can take a look. Absolutely. See the bubbles?
There's bubbles in there.
See the bubbles?
I see the bubbles.
It's not,
See the bubbles up there? Oh, no, this is all full. So this is fine. Sap drips into the tube. So these are the maple trees. So we're tapping sugar maples here. And the sugar maples, we know they're sugar maples when we look at the bark. So if you look at the bark, it's very rough and bumpy. It runs in lines or strips down the tree. Okay. So that's pretty well how we know it's sugar maple. And what we want to take out is the sap. So this is the sap in the tube, and that's what we're going to turn into maple syrup. Okay? And the sap is the tree's food. So we don't want to take all of the food, we just want to take a little bit of the food because we don't want to harm the tree. Okay? And so what we want to do is we want to learn about history. Right? We want to learn about where sap, how did it get discovered? Who knew about this sap? So we're going to head down the hill, and you'll notice a few little clues to help you figure out what group of people actually discovered the sap first. Okay? And there's a clue right here at the top which will help us. figure it out.
Ooh. Native people?
People? Yeah. You can check it out.
Is that
You
stuff?
can go in and look.
It's not that far, is it?
Look. Go in, take a little peek.
It's really.
Is she
Pretty
prickly
cool.
a little bit?
Yeah, well, it's not that prickly.
People just made this, right?
I made
On
this,
trees, right?
yes.
You put it on trees.
Yeah, feel it. They're not prickly.
Are you sure?
They look like pine cones, I think.
These are balsam firs.
Yeah, they're from trees like that.
Christmas trees, yep. Recycled Christmas trees. So, what group of people lived in houses like this?
Native people?
The native people, right? So the indigenous people.
Hold on, here. Here as well.
Oh, I'm messed that up. See all these maple stuff? It's like crazy. Maple syrup. Trying maple syrup today.
Your shoes on, Ben.
You might want to come to
Hey, the bird.
The bird's dead.
There you go. Not real. Your right shoes undone?
All right, so this is just another bit of history to take a look at, and it just kind of shows some of the things that were important to the first people, so the native people. We refer to them now as the indigenous people. A lot of the stuff was very important in their culture. So things like animal fur, they used a lot of the animal fur for warmth, for bedding kind of like stuff. Their transportation on the water was by canoe, made out of the birch tree, so birch bark canoes. Now, would their canoes have been the same size?
No.
The typical size of a canoe? No. Canoes would have been much. Would you fit in here?
No.
No, they need to be much bigger. So this is just a replica or a model. They relied on some vegetables, and those vegetables were called the Three Sisters. And that's beans, corn, and squash. Okay? Who likes squash? Only with maple syrup does it taste good. And then
I'll
we
take
just
her word for
have
it.
some pictures of maybe what their maple syrup would have looked like when they were making it. So there's lots of stories about how the sap was found. And one of the stories is about an Algonquin tribe, and the chief's name was Waxis. And Waxis was a hunter. And he practiced throwing his tomahawk into the tree over and over again. And on this one day, he threw his tomahawk into the tree and he went hunting. Later on in the evening, his wife came out to collect some water for the evening meal, and she went to get her bucket. And their buckets would have looked something like this. It's called a mokuk. Can you guys say mokuk?
Mokuk.
Mokuk. And it means bucket. And it was made out of the birch tree. So when she gathered up her mokuk, she took it back to camp and cooked the evening supper in it. And when her husband came home from hunting, he sat down to his meal, and it was the best supper ever. And he wanted to know what she had done differently. Where did the new flavor come from? So she took him outside, showed him where the mokok had been, and that's when they noticed the clear liquid dripping from the tree. They tasted it, didn't taste like anything, so they knew it was the cooking that brought the new flavor. Okay. But would they have had pots and pans to cook stuff in back then?
Maybe.
No.
No.
Pots and pans. Did they have electricity?
No.
No. So they had to figure out a way to cook it. So what they did, if you look over here, is they had a fire pit. Yeah. So they would have a fire, and in the fire they would put rocks. And those rocks would get hot, and they would take 2 sticks, and they would lift the rocks out of the fire and drop it into the sap, and that would cause the sap to steam. And eventually, if they did it enough times, what they would end up with is some logs full of this gooey stuff. So this is actually maple sugar. So this is what the First Nations people were actually making, is maple sugar. Okay? Not kind of the sugar that we're used to, but it would be maple sugar. Okay? So they were making this all while using hot rocks.
I think that's a stuffed bird.
Are you taping it?
That's-
Can you imagine having to
Yeah,
cook your dinner
that's
with hot
nice.
rocks? And they ended up making mostly maple sugar. Not really maple syrup, but mostly maple sugar. Okay? And when the pioneers arrived, the European settlers, they learned from the First Nations people how to make maple syrup. Okay? So we're going to go down even further. And remember, what goes down has to come back up to learn a little bit more about the pioneer way of doing things. So we're going to travel back, we're going to travel up in time now. We're going to go to around the late 17, early 1800s. Okay? All right. Look at those trees.
Oh, it's full of goodness.
Wind is good. It helps move the sap along. So we don't use buckets anymore. We use the tubes. So all of these tubes are collecting the sap from the tree and taking it down to our sugar shack.
Okay. Oh, it's a steep walk. Oh, I almost fell. I almost fell, don't you know? Oh, it's like something boiling. There's a long, stupid. What's that tube? You see, look, all these maple syrup. These people are so smart, and they're so smart and inventing these stuff, so you don't have to like go. It's like saves time. It's old-fashioned, so smart.
We'll burn it later. We actually put the fires on the weekend. Can't do it during the day.
Nope. Hands.
Okay, so we learned about the First Nations, the native people, and how they used the hot rocks to cook the sap. The pioneers had some different tools so they could make changes. So instead of using a tomahawk to cut the tree, they used this tool. What does it look like?
A drill?
A drill, sure. It's called a brace and bit. So what they would do is they would lean against it, turn the handle, and that would drill the holes into the tree. And then in the holes, they would put spiles. Okay? So these are what go into the tree. They started with wood, okay? But eventually they went to using cast iron, different types of metal, and today we use plastic, okay? So everything that we use here is plastic based. This one here was actually used in they'd drill the hole, hammer the spile in the tree, and then they would hang up a bucket. The biggest change that they did, the pioneers, is they put a lid on the bucket. Why would you put a lid on the bucket? What do you want to keep out of your maple syrup or your maple sap? What
Bear.
don't you want getting in your sap as you're collecting it?
Bees and bugs.
Bugs, we can scoop them out. That's protein.
Animals.
Animals, yeah, the lids don't keep them out. Something else that we don't want to get into our sap as it's being collected. Something that comes
Water.
from the sky. Water, yeah. So we don't want rain to get in there. So yesterday it was a good day that we had lids on because there would have been mostly water in the buckets, right? So the lid was to keep the rain from getting in or the snow from getting in. Because I have to collect 40 buckets of sap to get 1 bucket of maple syrup. So 40 of these, picture that in your mind, 40 of these full of sap will give me 1 full of maple syrup when I'm done cooking it.
Wow.
Yeah. And in the pioneer days, again, they had to cook it somehow. So they used cast iron pots. So they would fill the pots full of the sap and they would boil it using fire. And again, as it was cooking, they would use their big spoon and they'd move the sap from one pot to the other. And then from this pot to that pot. This would be the finished product over here. Okay. But when it came time to collect the sap from the trees, here, we don't have to do anything but wait. We just wait for the sap to run through the pipes and come to us. But back then, and some people today, have to collect it. So whose job was it to collect the sap? What do you think? Think of your family.
Children.
The children. It was the children's job. And you guys, you know, you're a perfect age to do the work. So who's going to be my model? I need a model. Okay, come on out here. I got a model.
I volunteer.
Okay, turn around.
He's a good model.
Okay, hold on to that. There you go. So your job would have been to help out Dad go through the woods and gather up the sap and bring it back to where it was being cooked. Now here at Purple Woods we have 1,200 taps.
Wow.
So if this was your sugar bush and you were using buckets, it would be 1,200 buckets that you would use. And you would have to go out and empty the buckets sometimes twice a day. Pretty easy job, right? Perfect. Thank you, sir. And maple syrup actually kind of coincides or happens the same time as the March break. You think that's a coincidence? Not at all.
Trees are not frozen.
March break was invented for the farming community because they had to farm and get everything ready and they gave a week off. So that's why you guys get March break, is to do some farming stuff. How many of you are going to go farm? Not too many, eh? Nobody. Maybe one?
He owns a farm.
You own a farm? Perfect. But he probably does it every day. So that's how the pioneers did it. So again, there's been some changes. Hot rocks, this, okay? We still use fire today. But I want you to see one more thing before we go, and that's over here.
Ooh, that's nice.
Alright, so this is again a maple tree. These are the new buckets that people use. So if you're starting up, unless you're buying used equipment, you'll have a hard time finding the metal buckets. They're trying to get everybody to switch to plastic. But we still have the lid, the plastic spile, and then in the bucket we have a little bit of sap. So this is what the sap looks like when it comes out of the tree. It's just a little bit.
Oh, that's nice.
So this is what we take out of the tree.
You have to step in mud.
What we're turning into maple syrup.
I'm gonna go clean the shoes and I'll go home.
And that's because it's only only about 3% sugar. And we want the finished maple syrup to be 66% sugar. So we have to boil it. And before we tap the trees, we have to know how big they are. So we have to use a tool. So right now, we've been tapping the sugar bush here for over 40 years. We use the same trees every year. We just do a different hole each time. Okay? But if we're watching our trees, they grow, and we might come across a tree that we're like, oh, I wonder if we could tap this tree. So we'll use a tool to measure it. Who wants to be measured? Can I borrow you and measure you?
So is that okay?
Can I measure you?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna just turn, put out your arms and be a tree. And then I'm gonna come up behind you and I'm just gonna measure.
Be a big tree. Arms out. Be a big tree.
Alright, so Nicole is 22 centimeters. So, we look at our chart, and if Nicole was a tree at 22, could Nicole be measured? Could Nicole be tapped if she was a tree? She's 22. What do you think?
Daniela, look at the number.
The numbers. So 25 and smaller, nothing. 25 and bigger, 1, and she was 22.
No.
Can we tap her?
She's too small. So Nicole would have to wait a couple years before we could try again and see if she was big enough. The trees are usually around 40 to 50 years of age before they can be tapped anyway. So I think Nicole's got a few years yet to go, right? So that's what we're doing with the trees. Now we want to see the important stuff, right? We want to see how we actually go about making the maple syrup today. And if you turn and face the building, you can see the steam come. So all that white stuff is steam, it's not smoke. The other stack with the lid that's flipped open, that's the smokestack. So if you look, you can see a lot of heat coming out, but very little smoke. And that's because the unit we're using burns very clean. So we're actually not putting a lot of harmful stuff back into the air. Let's go see what's happening in the sugar shack.
Ooh. I can't wait to eat maple syrup. Stupid shoelace.
There you go.
You're okay about being in the YouTube video?
Yeah, you know what about, yeah, we can avoid that.
The wind did it.
Yeah, you're right. The wind did it.
Oh my god, it's not in together. Smoke, right? We should be safe for a while.
You guys can come in here. Stand on the floor.
So bad in here. What?
Smell through your nose.
Oh, it smells like syrup to me.
It is. It is syrup. Come on in, guys.
It smells like syrup.
That's so weird.
Come in. Come in.
It smells like pancakes.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
It smells like Auntie Mima.
Come in. Come in. It smells awesome in here because this is how we make the maple syrup today. So this is called the evaporator. It's actually called the Hurricane Force 5 evaporator, and it's a gasifier. So it makes a very hot fire. That's all we need to know about that. It makes a very hot fire. And for the grown-ups, we're boiling off 13 liters of water a minute. Yes, an iPad. I was told that I had to start embracing technology. So,
Is that your iPad?
it's work.
Oh, you already? Oh, you got it from work.
It's from work. So what I want to show you, because we can't see it because everything's in a tube, right? All of the tubes that you see, all the blue and green tubes, connect to that room right there. And then from that room, it goes into here. But we have a vacuum on the line, and that vacuum is just kind of keeping pressure to pull the sap through the lines, because that has a long way to go, right? We're pulling from the top, we're pulling from down that way, we're pulling from that side. We want to bring it all down to the building, so I've got a little video to show you how fast the sap is coming into the back room. there's the video showing the sap coming in.
Wow.
Wow.
So that's all the sap coming into the building.
Oh, that's
on the
nice.
back when it's running. Okay. And then what's gonna happen is we're just gonna boil it. So it comes in here and it boils. And this machine, sorry, is fully automatic. So what that means is we don't have to take temperatures anymore. The machine does it all for us. It's all kind of mechanical. It's modern, right? So they just have to keep an eye on it every now and again and make sure the fire is still going nice and hot. Okay? And what they do is they wait for the syrup to get up to 104 degrees. And then when it reaches 104 degrees, a valve will open up on the back side and the finished maple syrup runs through. So that is all maple syrup
Wow.
That's cool.
running through. See it? Okay, so that's all maple syrup. It's too hot to lie underneath it and drink it as it comes through. But we wouldn't want to drink it as it comes through because it's dirty. Okay? So maple syrup, what we have to do before we can actually use it is we have to clean it. So maple syrup kind of comes a little bit dirty, but what it has is something called sugar sands. And those are all the minerals and the deposits that are in the sap that you don't want in your finished product. If we left it in, your syrup would be like having kind of like a mouthful of maple mud, right? It's kind of gritty. So this is what we clean out of your maple syrup. These are the sugar sands. So this is the yucky stuff. I call it the goobies.
Ew, not disgusting.
Yeah, we don't want to eat this. It's a mouth, it'd be like mud, sugar mud. Okay. So we take that out, and then once we take it out, then we can tell you what kind of maple syrup we've made. And there are now 4 different kinds of maple syrup. There used to be 5, but they've changed it on us. So here at Purple Woods, we are either going to make golden, amber, or dark syrup, okay? This bottle is what we put our sample in, and we have to match it to one of the other bottles that's in there, okay? So the new kind of grades are golden, amber, and dark. And it all depends on your taste. They all have the same sugar. It's just the color and flavor that changes. So the darker your maple syrup, the stronger the maple taste will be. How many of you like real maple syrup? Has anybody had real maple syrup before?
I'm not sure.
Yeah? Aunt Jemima?
Oh wait, that counts?
Yeah, no, that doesn't count. Aunt Jemima is all chemicals and corn
Oh,
syrup
I knew
and stuff.
I knew it.
This is the real stuff. So we're gonna get you some real stuff to taste
I'm gonna throw,
before we get you back up the top to have your pancake.
I am gonna throw the enzyme out and go home.
So
So,
just
buy some?
around the corner,
You buy
there's
some
a
syrup?
building with benches.
You know, buy
And
some.
you're just gonna go have a seat on one of the benches, and I'll get you some syrup.
She's coming with the goodies. Also some good stuff. I can't wait.
All right, who wants to try this stuff? So this is the amber syrup, and you just drink it.
Oh, amber syrup.
What one did you take?
No, all of it is like amber.
All of it's amber?
Really good.
Much nicer manners, Stu.
Yes!
Yes, you. If you want some, say yes, please.
Come on, you're gonna have
Yes.
What about over here? Somebody here?
Yes, please.
This tastes better than Aunt Jemima. It tastes better than Aunt Jemima.
The amber.
So good.
Are you guys sure you don't change your mind? You don't want to try it?
I can try for them.
Try it. No? Are you sure?
Oh. Is there extra? I can take it.
Will you
Don't be greedy.
Oh, yeah.
You have to eat it.
I know exactly.
Neither do I. Neither do I, but this one is.
I wish I sipped it.
Oh, that was so good. Oh.
There's no way to sip this. I couldn't sip it. I could try to sip it and it just went all down. So good. I just want to buy more. I'm telling Grandma to buy that Jemima. She's gonna complain. She's gonna complain why it's so expensive.
I know you can say that.
Wow. I like that so much. Yeah.
I should get a job here. I should get a job here.
Gotta work from the ground up. I know.
No.
I did.
So, did you like it?
Oh yeah. Mm.
What is like for the?
It's so natural. It's just so natural taste.
Maple syrup, you go for the amber, you go for the light.
Me personally, it's, I would say the amber going towards the gold.
What's a popular one?
Amber is the popular. Amber to dark. It kind of depends on your personal taste, and it's kind of hard because they've just changed the grading system. So you used to be able to buy extra light, light, medium, and amber, and I liked medium.
Yeah.
But now they've changed the name to golden, which is still extra light. Then they took the light and the medium and combined them to make them amber, and then they took the amber and called it dark, so it's just also very confusing.
And you're in the business.
I know, and it's been this way for like 42 years. They've been doing it forever this same way, and then all of a sudden they said this year they gave us 3 years to get to the new grading system. So we dragged our feet, and now we're getting thrown in. It's the maple syrup industry. So if you're part of the organization, there we go. So what we'll do then is we're just gonna head up to the top. When we get up to the top, we're gonna go inside and we're gonna go to the very front, left-hand side of the building, way up to the front. We'll sit up there and we'll serve you your pancakes, and you guys can just enjoy. And then there's going to be about 40 kindergarten grade 1 students coming in a little bit later for pancakes as well. So we'll have a big party in the building, and then
Look at that.
Oh yeah.
No, we'll just call them party crashers.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We're not gonna have a party in the building.
Oh, the other part when you pancakes like that now.
There's a syrup. Amber gold syrup. There's the pancakes. Yummy good pancakes. Can't get them anywhere else. You can get them anywhere else. I know you can get them anywhere else. People, stop using Aunt Jemima. Stop using Aunt Jemima. Use Canadian maple syrup.
Just want to help hand these out.
We all seated, guys?
Okay. Cream, yes.
Oh yes, please. Oh yes, please.
Zach, would you like pancakes? No, thank you.
Brendan, try some. It's really good. You don't know what you're missing.
Brendan, yes.
And try the syrup.
Yeah, the syrup's here. Sorry.
The syrup didn't come from a store. It came
I
from a
didn't
tree.
even give you guys forks and knives. My goodness. Sorry. Thank you. Okay, knife and fork. Knife and fork.
Grab syrup.
No, I'll take the more fuller one. This is all the syrup we got. Show us some good syrup. I'm gonna try to save her some. Pancake.
There you go. How's that?
Mmm.